It's time for Washington Fish Quest! This episode, 2-pole endorsement for Puget Sound salmon. Hey Washington Fish Questers, Blake here in the dark. Well, I'm back everybody, and it's a well-known fact that Bruce Springsteen goes dancing in the dark, but Blake goes boat launching in the dark. I am down at Union here, Historic Union, and I'm going to go pick up my buddy Shingo at Hoodsport, and we are going to troll around here in South Hood Canal. Going for some kings, but I heard the cohos are already in. This is kind of filmed during that time when the kings are waning and the cohos are entering. And I'm going to talk to you today, there's not too much to talk about, but about using a 2-pole endorsement to catch salmon in Puget Sound. And lucky for me, the two areas where that's commonly open are the two areas I hit the most. Not my finest lunch job, but I put the boat in the water. You know, I think the boss would be proud. Going to try using my dive light to navigate today. The problem is that they overheat because they're designed to be in the water. Working pretty good. Well, there comes the man, the myth, the legend. Such a myth, you can't even film him. The camera's too blurry in the dark. Shingo! Shingo brought the most important thing. We eat these and they make us strong. Alright, we're here. So one way that being able to fish 2-poles down here, and you can only fish them in Hood Canal south of Ayock Point, is if there's a time like this where there's coho and kings, where the fish are at different depths, which in Hood Canal is very common because of the depleted oxygen at the bottom. Even the kings, if it's in deep water, won't run that deep, so they'll be kind of suspended. That's really helpful, being able to have 2 poles at different depths. Then another way it's great, and this is what I'm doing today, is I'm going to be running a plug cut herring near the surface. You know, because we saw a coho jump on the way here, and even when I've been fishing a little further south in Hood Canal, I've been seeing fish at like 20 to 35 feet. So I'm just going to run a plug cut on banana weight on my rod that's not on a downrigger. Then on my downrigger rod, I'll run a tail wigger or a coho killer. So I'll run hardware and just have that going up and down the water column while I have a different method completely off the back. Now the downrigger is much more likely to be effective, but it's really nice to have that option, you know, so that I can use live bait and also use hardware. And by hardware, I mean lures, by the way, just anything that, you know, hoochie, spoon, tail wigger, whatever. For those that don't know what a tail wigger is, which I'm sure most people probably do, but if you're new to the game, this is the tail wigger. It's a combination between a spoon and a hoochie. As you can see, this one's had some good action on it there. They're going by, but there were some marks there, maybe a mark there. They're in. Yeah, so there you can see I just got a banana weight, got my herring there, it's got a nice roll, it's under the water there. And this is actually my jigging rod, so we plan to troll today, but as you know, if you watch the channel, Shingo and I also fancy a jig, so that's another nice thing. It keeps my jig rod, you know, out of the way, actually, just by fishing it, you know. Alright, so we're down here on Southern Hood Canal, south of Ayock Point. The 2-pole endorsement is good here. The other area it's good in Puget Sound is Marine Area 13, also known as the Deep South Sound, I call it. I think it's just a South Sound in the regs, but you know, that's south of the Tacoma Narrows, basically. Outside of that, I am not familiar with any other place that the 2-pole is good for, but luckily for me, like I said, those are the 2 areas I fish the most. I fish alone half the time, so usually how I use it is I either have both downriggers going or I double stack one of them. the third rod's done jack, but I think the real second rod is having a good buddy with you. Yeah! Oh yeah, Shingo's is very nice. Well, look at this. I already unhooked it, but Coho killer went all the way through the gill. I thought we had two silvers. Shingo just pointed out his was a king. I just totally missed that, yeah? Old black gum lines versus the white gum lines of the silver there. That is awesome. Two species of fish. Hatchery king, wild coho, both obtainable down here this year in Marine Area 12, south of Ayock. Yeah, multi-species double, that's crazy. I mean, they were like running in the same school or something, you know, that was bonkers. I didn't know the coho were going to be in this thick today. I missed an opportunity to show you the best way, in my opinion, to use the 2-pole endorsement, and that's if cohos or pinks are in. If it's a pink here, you troll a rod, you know, on your downrigger, then you have a secondary rod to cast. So Shingo and I have seen some coho action on the surface, and if you see cohos or pinks or really any salmon on the surface, you know, and they're just kind of porpoising a bit, try to get in front of them and see if you can't put a spinner in front of them. Now that is a fun way to catch a salmon, and it can be extremely effective. I'm sure today it would have worked, but I just wasn't thinking that the coho were going to be in here so thick. If anyone watching this is new to Puget Sound salmon fishing or salmon fishing in general, one of the hallmarks of a coho salmon is sometimes you'll get one that just runs at you. That's what this fight ended up being. About 75% that fish was just running right at me. There was 2 or 3 times I was pretty sure it was off, but you know, when you have a coho and you feel that slack, you just reel down, you know, because there's a chance it's still there, and that was what happened here. Yep. All right, this one's a lot nicer than the first coho, so yeah, I guess I'll stick with targeting then. You know, the coho killer catches everything in the ocean, and sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad, but when, hey, there's adult cohos around, it's great. Well, the fishing's awesome. It's only 7:40 in the morning, but we're starting to get blown off the water a bit because I know it's just going to keep picking up, so going to have to end this one. But yeah, great morning on the water. Shingo got a king, I got a couple cohos. You can't complain. And hey, we went over the pros and cons of running a second rod with the 2-pole endorsement, just as I said we would. Of course, the con being it can get in the way when the downriggers are producing. So at any rate, I'll see you next time on Washington Fish Quest.